Hi, I'm Meredith Rhodes, Assistant Professor of Finance in the Ryan College of Business in the Department of Finance, Insurance, Real Estate, and Law. I just want to take a few minutes to talk about my research. A lot of my research has to do with crises and how the market kind of responds to crisis and how it kind of happens in markets. So for all of us, we have to make decisions based on the information that we have. And depending on the situation, that's how much information that we will actually gather. So if you think about a very simple situation, it's probably pretty easy to gather information about it. So if you think about maybe your favorite sports team or something and you are trying to make a decision to go to a game or something, it's easy to go and find what their schedule is. But as those situations get more complicated, you might be inclined to not go out and search for information. So if you want to think about markets, the more complex these markets are, the less likely you are to go and find information. And so you may rely more on noisy information, or a good example of that would be maybe fake news. So you might be inclined to just rely on something that someone else said that you don't really know is true or not, but it sounds true. And so you might make a decision based on that without verifying the actual truthfulness of that information. And so markets work that way too. You have some markets where gathering information is very easy. And so those markets have a lot of information in them. And then you have some markets that are very complex. And so you don't have a lot of information in those markets. But then when something happens, like an event, so take COVID-19, once an event like this happens, it actually makes people realize how much they just don't know, that they've just been accepting this whole time. And so that actually makes people want to go out and search for information. So if you think about maybe the face masks thing, some people say face masks work, some people say it doesn't. So you don't know what to believe. So you might go out and actually search for information, but let's face it, looking at scientific research is costly. We might not understand it. And so we might just rely on something that we read on social media or news or something like that. And so it's the same idea with markets. And so one of my papers actually looks at the financial crisis in mortgage-backed securities, which are very complex securities. A lot of people just kind of accept the information that they can see, and they don't go out and try to uncover more information, such as, are people defaulting on their mortgages? Because if they are, then these securities that we're investing in might not be good quality products. And so it takes an event like a financial crisis for people to go and be like, I need to know more. And then once you have that crisis that happens, or a shock that triggers some people to uncover more information, usually those people who can uncover that information are the ones that are more capable of doing it. They have more resources, they have more time. They can actually go and search out that information. And so it actually acts as the dividing event, where you have some people who are just like, I have no idea what's going on, I'm just going to sell this stuff. And then you have some people who are like, I really want to know what's going on. And when you have some people who just don't know, some people who do know, markets don't work, because those people who do know are going to be the only ones in the market. And I'm not going to trade with someone who I know has a lot of information, because it seems like a lose-lose to me. And so markets just stop working. And that's what happened during the financial crisis. And that's kind of what I look at in my research, is there's usually a defining event that causes people to realize how much they don't know. And then they can either choose to just not know and just not participate, or they can actually go and search out for more information to see if something's a good investment or not. But they really do need that ignorant party, or the person who just doesn't want to go and find information to actually have the market work appropriately. So I have another paper that's actually looking at COVID-19 and public financing costs. So if you think about the shelters in places, people were not allowed to go out and spend money like they normally would. Well, that's going to affect cities' budgets, which is going to affect how much they can borrow money for. And so we're actually looking at that as the shelter in places happened. How did that impact municipalities' financing costs? Because in the market, some people are going to be like, well, this municipality or this city is going to be affected this much because they went and got that information, while others are just like, I just want to stay away from it. It all seems risky at the moment. And we do find that certain cities are experiencing increased financing costs as people are more slowly to go out there and spend money, and the cities can't generate that tax revenue like that. And so really my overarching theme in my research is how information impacts markets, especially during crisis periods. And so that's basically my research in a nutshell, and go Mean Green.